All right, Spark. So, just a brief summary of today's session, which was our usual Thursday Spark sprint session. And so, we were today on the London Classic route, which offers us for an hour, 5 laps of the short route of London Classic, plus a lead in, which is almost the length of a lap. So, in a sense, we have 6 laps that we can use. And really, the way we structure those is to do the lead in, lap 1, 2, and 3 really as warm-ups. And so what we do is we do the same ramp up from the last kilometer banner, the Flamme Rouge, all the way to the arch, which you will now see. And then from there, we just do a jump from the 300 meter to go. So what we've done this morning is just to prove the point of how to approach the sprint. So on this one in particular, I am not going to go out of the ramp full out until the actual line of the start of a sprint. And so you can see here, we're just going nice and steady. And then boom, here I'm going, putting the power down. You can see already like just how delayed that is. And we can of course keep that almost max power all the way to the line. It dips a little bit on the last 10 meters, 20 meters. And so we can see here like the time is 12:20, and that's a late start. So we can see when we look at the entry speed on that particular one, it was 48 kph, and then the exit speed was around 65 kph. So then we have a second one. Ramp up was the same, 2.5 to 4.0, all the way to the 300 meter to go line. So here we're really going before we even get to the official sprint segment. And what we're trying to do really, because we have a PB or a best time on the segment, is to enter it with maximum speed. So on this particular one, we can see here we're getting like just on the ramp up, because it's a slight downhill, right? We're already at like 44. The 300 meter to go line is now approaching. We're going to go from here. Again, you can see we're above like 1100. By the time we cross the line, we're already dropping power, right? I'm already at 800 watts by the time I enter the 200. But if we look at the exit speed, it goes back above 63 kph just because I was in the draft on that last 20 meters. But otherwise, it was really 63 kph was the max speed I reached in that particular sprint. But the entry speed was 58 kph, which is 10 kph faster than we entered the first time around, which makes sense because we were not pushing by the time we entered the segment. And so there was a full second difference. The draft probably makes a bit of a difference. I think there was probably a little bit more draft on the second one, but I don't think it was a huge amount. And so there's a full second anyway. So we didn't use power-ups. When we look at the power number, they were about the same. But what we can see is like, even though you die a little bit in the second half of that sprint, you carry the speed. And so if you're after a personal best on that particular segment, you are much better off starting early, well before the start line, and check. You're aiming for the best speed you can manage when you enter. So now we look at our final sprint, which we did like in the under racing conditions. So I'm not calling out targets or anything, just so that people can practice for themselves what they want to do. Some people go early. That we can see, I'm still going to maintain the same, but this time I'm just going to use the power up. So we get also a chance to see the difference that the power up makes. In this instance, is the aero. I'm still going for 300 meter. I'm going to hit the aero pretty much as I go, so I don't have to think about anything else. We enter the zone here at 62 kph, which is much faster. That's the effect the aero has. We have a lot less draft on that particular one. And then we finished at like 64 kph, just under again, but not significant. But the time is much better on that particular one. As you can see, it's a 1070 versus like 1118 on the first one, and then 1220 when we actually started without the lead up, the 300 to 300 meters. So hopefully that's helpful. But if you have any questions, just put anything in the comment section, and then we'll just make sure that we can talk about those things. If you have ideas or things you do, we start at 300 meters because it's convenient. There's a sign, so it's much easier to point. But you should experiment with that. It may be that you need a smoother ramp up. Right, so maybe you need to go just a brief summary of today's session, which was our usual first video sprint and you cannot just do a smoother ramp up. And so we were today on the London Classic route. Maybe you need to go, which offers us for an hour. So the more you experiment, the better. So that you get a sense as to what's your individual plus a lead-in, which is almost enough of a lap when it comes to. So in a sense, we have 6 laps that we can use.